From four-legged to three-handed. Block 1. Human gait. Learning from drawings and comics. More, see the link below. Why drawing and comics? Studies have shown that we see with both our brains and our eyes. That means that our impression of reality, visual impression of reality, is biased. The drawer's business is to get rid of this bias. Even if they use their imagination, and artists usually do, they have to refer to the real thing. Then they are the best observers of movement. That's a general image of the walking cycle, and further on we are going to split it in parts and enhance each one of them. As we walk, our body goes up and down. It's a normal way of saving energy that the human walking has. So just to illustrate that, let's imagine a line across the head. In the contact positions, it's just contacting the line. The head just contacts the line. Then, as we walk, we go down when we flex both legs, and when we are passing one leg to the other, from one leg to the other, our head gets in the middle of the line, and then when we step, like the hind legs is giving an impulse for before it changes, then we get to our highest level, highest point. Then our hips do a side-to-side movement when we exchange weight from one side to the other, from one leg to the other. When we do that, the shoulder girdle gets closer as well to the hip. So if the hip, like our weight is on the left side, our hip moves to the left and our shoulder goes to the same side. So far we had the back view. Let's go to the front view now. Imagining a line through a vertical line that cuts the body from head to toe. The navel is right behind it. Then when our weight goes to the left leg, the navel goes a bit to the left, and when it goes to the right leg, it goes a little bit to the right, and the same happens to the shoulder. Then if we draw a horizontal line from one shoulder to the other, and a parallel horizontal line from one hip to the other, when the weight is on the right, both lines incline to the right, going one in direction of the other, and vice versa. Then we have a very easy movement to see which is the movement of the upper and lower limbs. Like they evolve in opposite directions. When the left arm goes backwards, the left leg goes forward, and vice versa. There is an opposition between the shoulder and pelvic girdles. We can see that here in the drawing when the right foot and the left hand of the character meet in a central line as he's walking. When he changes to the next step, the same happens, this time with the opposite foot and opposite hand. This opposition reminds me of models walking on the catwalk. They walk like a cat, placing one foot right in front of the other, so that the leg doesn't go just forward, it goes a little bit inward. And it's of course it's an exaggeration of the walking movements of the normal walking, but in fact everybody walks like that. If we were to draw a line following these oppositions, we'd have an spiral, like a coil going up and down the trunk. This coil works as a traction splint, and as almost as if toward the body in all directions at the same time. This tearing doesn't happen though. Instead, what happens is an expansion. Therefore, we can say that walking is a basic movement, and it's not only basic, but it also makes the body kind of find its way in the space. That's why the human gait, the body moves to all sides, all directions, all the time. It goes up and down, forward and backwards and sideways. And all this together gives an spiral. We can imagine our body as an air balloon. When you blow air inside it, it expands to all sides at the same time. The same happens to our body. There's a lot of inner movements that we can't see that happen inside, in between the bones, in the muscles, and so forth. Later on they show up in the external movement, which never stops. And the more we are aware of these inner movements and use them and place our body in the space, in its surrounding space, we get the better our balance, the more efficient our movements, and the less effort we make. Consequently, we have less injuries, including the manual movements and tasks in our working day. To conclude, we could say that long ecstatic poses are movement as well, for the inner movement never stops. And from these examples, From this example here, we can see that our body has means to protect itself in every movement situation. I'd say our body is meant to take up place in space, just as the balloon does when as the air gets into it. Then we could say our body is everything but an empty balloon.